going to go to the quadratic formula. So in the quadratic formula, we want to be sure first that we do have our equation equal to 0, which we do. We want to identify A, B, and C. A is the coefficient of x squared, B is the coefficient of x, and C is the constant term. And remember, I always have you find the discriminant first. So b squared, well, b is 4, so it's going to be 4 squared, minus 4 times, a was 3, and c was -9. So 16 minus 4 times -27. And since we have a minus 4 and a -27, this is going to be 16 plus 108. And 16 plus 108 is going to be 124. Since this 124 is positive, we know that we're going to get 2 real solutions when we work the quadratic formula. Now you always want to write your formula down first. X equals -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c divided by 2a. So x equals, our b was 4, so that would be -4 plus or minus the square root of 124 divided by 2 times a, which was 3. So we get x equals -4 plus or minus. Now when we see that square root of 124, we want to see if it simplifies, and it does. 4 goes into 124 31 times, so this breaks up into the square root of 4 times the square root of 31. So that's 2 times the square of 31 divided by 6. Now this could be our final answer, but we want to see first if it simplifies. And the way we know it simplifies is if these 3 numbers, and it has to be all 3, if they all share a common factor. And all of those numbers that you see are divisible by 2. So if we divide all of them by 2, we're going to get -2, +1, and 3. So we get x equals -2 plus or minus. Our 1 is not necessary in front of our square root of 31, and then divided by 3. Now this is our final answer if we're looking for an exact answer, but if we're looking for a decimal answer at this point, we want to grab our calculator so that we can plug this in. Okay, I've grabbed my calculator, and the first thing I want to do is the numerator. Keep in mind that the numerator really has parentheses around it, so we need to do -2 plus the square root of 31, and then hit enter. This makes sure that the calculator does this addition first, and then we divide by 3. So we get 1.2. Let's round to the tens place here. 1.2 when we do this one, and then we're going to do the second one, -2 minus the square root of 31. Hit enter, and then divided by 3, and we get -2.5. So those are our 2 answers, 1.2 and -2.5. So x equals 1.2 and -2.5. So we have an exact answer, and then we have an estimated answer, which is what our decimal is. Okay, next method is using square roots. So when we're using square roots, we want to keep in mind that we don't want an x term. We don't want a bx in this. You'll notice we have an ax squared and we have a c, but we don't have a bx. Our other option is if we have a binomial square, that's when this is also a good method, is to use when we've got square roots.